France 24's Doug Herbert joins me on the set now to take a closer look at that report and its findings. Doug, again, we're talking about this difference of a half a degree. What does that represent, really?
A lot, according to scientists. And you know, this is the whole essence. The big takeaway from this report is that the commitments made in the Paris Climate Agreement, much ballyhooed, are just too little to really even begin to prevent the risk of dangerous runaway climate change, overheating. Look, 1.5 degrees versus 2. Above 1.5 degrees Celsius, about 2.6 degrees Fahrenheit, you have basically the Arctic remaining ice-free throughout the entire summer. You have catastrophic threats to many of the land-based animals, creatures on this planet, to their very existence. You have many more of the types of deadly heat waves that we have seen in Europe and elsewhere very recently, much more that warming trend. Beyond that, what about the ecosystems? Coral reefs will die much less quickly at 1.5 degrees. You know, scientists say 1.5 degrees Celsius warming is still no picnic, Jeannie. It's still very dangerous warming, but it's far better, that half-degree difference from 2 degrees. Sea level rises. A major reason that this whole report was commissioned, that the UN wanted this panel to look into this, is what would have to be done to prevent 1.5 degrees Celsius, which was the most ambitious target of the Paris Climate Agreement. They said that at 1.5 degrees, over that, sea level rises are 10 centimeters less. So you look at me, you say, 10 centimeters, it's not that much. What, it's like that, right? It's a lot if you're living on a low-level island, low-lying island in the middle of the Pacific or the Atlantic, where your entire existence and your home is in jeopardy of being totally submerged underwater. That is a clear and present danger right now. At 2 degrees, forget it. 1.5 degrees, 10 million fewer people are exposed to the catastrophic risks of flooding, storm surges, salt spray that could damage lands further, and also there's much less of a reduction, a drastic reduction in crop yields in Africa, in Central America, under 1.5 degree scenario. It's still really bad global warming. I'm not trying. The scientists are not trying to say it will be all easy going with 1.5, but there's a major, major difference, and that's what they want to hammer home. Paris was not enough, and the world's governments need to do more, and individuals need to do more.
So, what concretely do people need to do, or do governments need to do, to get to that point of the 1.5 cap?
Change life as we know it right now on the planet. And I'm not being glib. They literally mean we need a radical change in our entire mindset on climate change. This clarion call, really. Let me just quickly bring up a chart to show you a few of the bullet points. I know we're running out of time here. Basically, phasing out all fossil fuels. I know we hear it from every government. We have plans to cut down on our carbon emissions. They really mean plans here and now. The UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, he said in recent months that beyond 2020, what, we're 2 years out, less than 2 years out from that, there is a real risk of runaway climate change. It's what you call the point of no return, when you just have so many greenhouse gases building up in the environment that no matter what you do, climate change, it's too little too late to do anything. There's still time. Phasing out fossil fuels, one more time, ending all emissions from cars, trucks, and airplanes. I'll say that again, ending all emissions, carbon emissions from cars, trucks, and airplanes. You're saying, yeah, I know, you shake your head, how's that going to happen? You know, we've talked about California, states like California, where they have very ambitious plans, electric cars, zero carbon, net carbon, zero emissions, but that's what you have to do. That was the original terms of the Paris Agreement there. And then finally, beyond all of that, planting forests, things like that, you know, capturing and storing carbon. It's not enough just to cut emissions, but to find ways to suck it like a vacuum, a Hoover, right out of the atmosphere. You could do that basically by planting forests, which suck up CO2, and you could also do it through new technologies, including new soil agriculture technologies, which retain carbon literally in the ground, not letting it escape into the atmosphere in the form of dangerous greenhouse gases that cause climate change. So it's ambitious. Some scientists are pessimistic. They have hangdog faces. They say it's just not possible. But others say it is not too late. It just requires a real jarring, drastic change in our entire mindset, our entire approach. You, me, Jeannie, all of us, and governments and businesses, especially people in richer countries who might have more of a luxury in being able to make those lifestyle choices here and now.
Doug, thanks for that. France 24's Doug Herbert.